Okay, we're live. We're live-ish, definitely live-ish. Let's see if we can put the chat on here. Live chat. Hello. It's been a while. I ran out of Doctor Who to talk about, so I kind of stopped making videos after that month. After January, there wasn't that much to really fuel me for every single night of the week. But I mean, I've got some comic videos out, and I kind of want to make some more of them in a wee bit. But I've been meaning to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And like not like fully back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't mean like back into it to the point where I'd be buying cards, but back into it where like, making decks, playing games. I found some in the cupboard when I was just looking there, and like I had an idea for a video a while back to just like get like a big pile of them, random ones, and like shove them and then pick them out of the pile, and then laugh at them, basically laugh at them and give my terrible opinions on whether they're like good or useful. I feel like people really respond to the word useful, because you can say something's useful and then people will be like, no, no, it's not, and that'll drive engagement, which we're all about here. We're all about engagement. So buckle up as I kind of just agonizingly shuffle these cards. And I'm not kind to my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm kind to my comics. I really take care of them. But these cards, I don't think it comes across via this camera, but they're very yellowed and very frayed. I've never once really. I mean, I've had sleeves, and I've usually put my main deck in sleeves, so I've never bought more sleeves than like what's required for one deck. So I feel like at one time I've never had more than like 40 sleeves. So yeah, buckle yourself in for kind of mistreatment of cards, mispronunciation of names, and then crediting cards with being quite good when they're actually not that good at all. So yeah, I've shuffled them, as hopefully you've been able to hear. It sounds like the sound's on. I can see the wee sound bar going up and down there, so at least it's picking up the sound. Should we pick the first one? Oh wow, that's a good first pick there. Let's see if we can get it on the camera without the sheen. Also, I can't read it like that. What is that? Ryu Kishin Clown? Kishin? Is that how you say that word? Kishin. It's one of the clowns. I had a clown deck at one point. The clowns are quite interesting back in the day, because you had a lot of, there was like two normal monster clowns. There was like is it Paten? Paten's the effect monster clown. Sagi was one of them. Is Kaiba's one Sagi? The normal monster one, who has like 500-ish attack. There'll be a lot of that as well. There'll be a lot of guessing of card effects and attributes and attacks. But that terrible like normal monster clown card, I loved him. He was great. I had Paten. Paten's amazing. Paten's that one that you get him and then you get another one of them. Or is it when he dies? Yeah, he dies and then you get another one of them, and he loops. And you can do incredible stuff with Paten the Dark Clown. Every deck I made back in the day had Paten in it. I want to say it was Paten. Anyway, this video will help me remember things, basically. It's basically a memory aid, if nothing else. What's the effect here? When this card is summoned, including flip summoning, which is pretty good. And special summoned, select one face-up monster in the field and change its battle position. Yeah, the clowns had battle position changey effects. There's one of them that kills stuff when it changes battle position. So he helps the other one change battle position. So yeah, I had a clown deck for a while, and it wasn't good, but it was a deck composed of clowns, which I feel like it achieved its goal at the very least. I mean, I can't remember if it ever won a game. I was running it when it was just like terrible old effect monsters versus the new hotness, whatever it was. I think it was probably XYZs at the time. So it didn't have any like attributes that you would like say is good for doing Yu-Gi-Oh, but it did do its main thing. And like I feel like if it was using all of the cards that you possibly could use, like if you had actually have had access to the cards that would need to make it good, then you could probably do something with the kind of monster position changey effects, because it was just like straight kill a dude, to activate. So yeah, good first card. 800 attack, 500 defense. dark fiend. And the artwork, and this is one of the main things, like you'll see a lot of cards tonight that are pretty poor, but they will have like cracking old 90s anime artwork. His artwork is lovely. Look at that. He's just some sort of evil demon clown that's laughing. I've never noticed his wee foot. I've never noticed his wee foot before until looking at it on the camera there. He's got a wee foot. That is lovely. We'll throw him over there. We'll have another shuffle. I think we'll shuffle between picks, just to be fair. And not like properly shuffle. Do this kind of like cheating kind of shuffle. All right, what have we got next? We've got a normal monster. We've got Guardian of the Labyrinth. Look at that. This shield has a mouth on it. It's also made of crystals or energy or something. That is fabulous. 4-star. 4-star. Why is he 4-star? He's got 1,000 attack and 1,200 defense. He's a warrior, a monster that guards the entrance to the netherworld. He's Earth. He's one of the fusions for something, isn't he? Is he not Gate Guardian? Labyrinth Tank? Is he part of the fusion for Labyrinth Tank? I want to say he's part of the fusion for Labyrinth Tank, but again, you know, if I'm wrong, you go correct me. You get me corrected. I've got nothing to talk about him with. Labyrinth Tank is really cool. I feel like Labyrinth Tank was one of the ones that I got in my first packet of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day, back in primary school. I remember getting... Oh, I might be getting it confused with the other clown monster. Very clown-based so far, actually, tonight. I want to say I'm getting it confused with the clown monster. I've always liked Labyrinth Tank. He's got drills, and he's like a tank from a labyrinth. The episodes with the Labyrinth, with the brothers, the Paradox brothers in the anime, I always loved. So anything related to that was part of my jam. I was going to pick up the next card, but that's not how we're doing things. That's not the rules we've established. I've actually tipped some of the cards upside down now, so maybe they'll come up. I don't know if I can like keep my eyes focused on the video and shuffle at the same time. Not well, anyway. All right, here we go. What have we got? Ooh, we've got Lighten the Load. It's a magic card. It's got folk on it. Who's it got on it? No one I recognise, which is helpful. Lighten the Load, what does it say? Add one level 7 or higher monster from your hand to your deck and shuffle it. And then draw one card. You can only use this effect once per turn, and it's a continuous. And that's some boy racer in the background there. But I Lighten the Load. I wanted to say it was... I'm going to say was good. I don't think it was ever good, but it's one of those things you can have in a deck if you're doing like big high level stuff and you get too much of it, and it's draw power. I know that like Yu-Gi-Oh still thinks that draw power is like the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's the best thing in the world, but like they're always banning Pot of Greed. Like I imagine Pot of Greed is still banned. Like I'm not up to date, but I imagine Pot of Greed is still not good to use. So yeah, I don't think I ever used Lighten the Load properly. I never think I got... Lighten the Load was always one of those things I was like, oh yeah, I could use Lighten the Load. But then it never properly came up even when I tried to use it. I think I had a Blue Eyes deck along the lines... There was that Kaiba deck that came out where you got loads of Blue Eyes stuff, and it was around the time those Hieratics were about. I want to say, because you could do lots of Blue Eyes stuff with Hieratics and high-level things. And I want to say I'll put Lighten the Load in that, but I could entirely be wrong. But yeah, we'll have another wee shuffle. Magic cards, unless the art's cracking, I'm probably not going to talk about that much, because I'm mostly here for the monsters. How like disappointing is it when you get magic cards and trap cards in a deck, in a wee booster pack? You're here for the guys, you're here for the lads, you're not here for the effects or whatever. I mean, you're here for the effects, but you're not here for the boring ones, the boring spells. I said that, I got Disappear. Oh, look at that. That's that normal monster, isn't it? Is it Luster Dragon? Luster Dragon number 1? Number 2? Well, one of them's like a weedy dragon, and one of them's like a really buff one, like him. And it's Disappear. Select one card from your opponent's graveyard and remove it from play. This was cool well back in the day, I want to say, when like taking stuff out of the graveyard meant less, but also more. It meant more, but less, because you couldn't really do much, and there wasn't decks geared around out of play stuff, and now everything basically is. But yeah, it was like, oh, you've not just killed it, you've super killed it, and it's such lovely artwork. He's just like fading away. I'm sure there's a billion better ways to do that effect nowadays, which is a shame. Yu-Gi-Oh's very much gotten beyond me. Like it always gets beyond you because the power creep is such that it's insane. I know they've like got speed jewels or stuff now. I'm kind of tempted to get the Wii decks. I know they're the same size as normal decks, but you get like 3 decks in them, and it's for doing it faster or whatever. The one that has like Pegasus, because like the Toon stuff. So I've always been intrigued by the Toons. So I might get the Pegasus one because I feel like that also comes with Gravekeepers, and Gravekeepers were always cool. I wonder if we'll get something in the deck. It's not a deck, it's a grouping of cards I found in the cupboard. It's another bloody magic card. This is the problem when doing it randomly. Shen's Spy. Quite like the art. It's like a delivery man, isn't it? It's quite a nice wee box. I always get disappointed by this card because it's like a Six Samurai looking thing, but it's not Six Samurai based. Select one face-up monster on your side of the field to activate this card. Until the end phase of this turn, shift control of the selected monster to your opponent. There's stuff you can do there, which will be the catchphrase of this show if we make it a show. There is stuff you can do with that, but again, I feel like there's more ways to use it. I don't know. Every time I went onto the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki back in the day, I feel like this card came up a lot. It was like, oh, you can do things with this card, but I never encountered it in games. And like, I learned Yu-Gi-Oh mostly by playing the game and seeing what works during battle. And I can't really get my head around a lot of the kind of meta stuff where it's like, oh, this is good for that. It's like, well, like I can get it. I get what the people are saying, but it doesn't really click until I see it, like the mechanics physically play out. And no one ever used Gen Spy, so I never clicked with it. Let's hope for a monster. I should have probably like got a better selection of cards or a more kind of I don't know. Maybe I should have checked how many monsters were in this pile before I took them out of the cupboard. Yep. Elemental Recharge, another trap there. I think this is an E-Hero support, but it's one of the early E-Hero supports, so not good. Increase your life points by 1,000 points for each face-up monster on your side of the field that includes Elemental Hero in its card name. I never got into life increasing decks or strats that involved your life going up forever because when I was playing, there was never anything that was like... There was that one dragon that switched the effects. There was that one dragon that you could have on the field, and when you took damage, you gained damage instead, and everything seemed to be based around that. I feel like I tried it once. Like I tried to make a deck around it once, and then like it got beaten, and I was so like demoralized. I never like looked at it again. But I don't think that's really what you want your E-Heroes to be based around, gaining life. So another early E-Hero support that, yeah, I bet no one uses. Which will probably be said for all of these cards. Like, there's normal monsters from like way back when in here, so I bet none of these guys are getting any use on the field today, unless the game significantly changed. But when I ducked out of it, which was before, it was around the time that the Dante's Inferno cards were about. They were just ridiculously overpowered. It was around that time that I ducked out of it, and that was when the blue cards. What are they called? Yu-Gi-Oh always introduces like a new summoning mechanic every time it gets a new show. Frames, Cyber, Link summoning. I ducked out just before Link summoning became a thing, which I know was fairly far into it, but wasn't really paying that much attention to the meta before then. And I've forgotten what my train of thought was, so I'll just look at another card. It's another bloody magic card. Fisher, though. Classic. I remember Fisher getting a lot of play back when Yu-Gi-Oh was first a thing in Scotland. I remember sitting on people's doorsteps playing Yu-Gi-Oh on the wee step. And I remember Fisher being like a horrible one because you'd take ages to get your blue eyes out, and you'd get your blue eyes out, and people would just be like, Fisher. And to like a certain extent, I still hate that about Yu-Gi-Oh! There's just instant kill cards, but there's so much you can do that doesn't really matter. Destroy one face-up monster with the lowest attack on your opponent's side of the field. If it's a tie, you get to choose, which, fair play to it. I think it's funny that there's like that condition. It has to be like the monster with the lowest attack. So like, I mean, you use it when there's only one thing on the field, so it doesn't matter what the attack is. But I like that that's in there. That's fun early Yu-Gi-Oh kind of limiting factorness. Remember when you couldn't get like normal monsters with over 2,000 attack or over 1,900? I think it was for the longest time, and then they did 2,000 attack for star monsters, but they always gave them like a negative. That spider thing that's like you have to flip a coin every time you attack, and if you don't, then you half your life points or something catastrophic. They really just hated the ability for monsters to have 2,000 attack and be like no tributed for the longest time, and then they surpassed that at some point. Was it Gene Warped Werewolf? There's like a whole subset of those guys now that are specifically exist because Yu-Gi-Oh hated that for so long, and then they countered that with like, no, this guy has like 2,100 attack and he's just a 4-star. Because like that isn't, by the point that happened, it wasn't that big a deal that you could just get 2,100 attack without tributing, because the power creep was such that it didn't matter. Yu-Gi-Oh is weird, and I kind of like it. I like a lot of its kind of bizarre decisions that it makes about its own rules. Oh my god, it's another magic, and it's like a dinosaur one. What's it called? Tail Swipe. Yeah, pretty good art though. Look at that art on Tail Swipe. I always liked the terrible dinosaurs. I know they keep trying to make dinosaurs a thing, and if they have successfully made dinosaurs a thing, let me know, because I might be all about that. But they kept trying to make dinosaurs a thing, and it never took. Like they made the Evolzors, Evozors. There was the Evolving Dinosaurs archetype that came out at the very start of XYZ summoning. Zexel? Was it Zexel? Can't remember if it was Zexel or not. Was it Zexel? Might have been Zexel. But at the start of that, they made the Evolzors, and none of them were good. And like there was a deck there, but you had to have all of the big specials, and like even when you did have all the things, and when it worked, it wasn't that great. And people just took the XYZs from that archetype and made mad decks around them. So it wasn't the actual dinosaurs that mattered. It was the dragons that they evolved into, which I thought was like, I really like the idea of reptiles to dinosaurs to dragons, but they never made it work. And I'm sure it's fine now because they always go back and add things to old archetypes. But I don't know. I feel like that sentence started off with a lot of spite, but I'm kind of into the idea by the end of it. God, we're going to have to read this effect. Select one face-up level 5 or higher dinosaur-type monster on your side of the field to activate this card. Select and return to the owner's hands up to 2 monsters that are either lower level than the selected monster or face down on your opponent's side of the field. Level, I'm sure that's good for dinosaurs, but again, they weren't a thing, so shall I just pick a monster? Shall I just pick a monster at random? Well, we'll do one more random selection, and then if it's not a monster, I'll be quite angry, and then we'll pick a monster, because I want to talk about monsters, because monsters is what we're here for. Imagine if this was all just magic cards, it'd be guff. Oh no. I thought I saw brown when I flipped it, but it's very much pink. Macrocosmos, which again, I think that was meta for, at some point in its existence, there was the kind of the constellation-y sun deck. I never got any of the cards until well after the time they were usable, and they still look pretty cool. Like there's some good anime stuff going on there. Look at that body proportions. Look at his weird shoulders and his like really cinched waist. Waist doesn't sound like a word, does it? You can special summon one Helios, the primordial sun, from your hand or deck when you activate this card. When this card is on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is removed from play instead. Yes. That is pretty good, isn't it? Because you're like scuppering a lot of plans if everything goes to removed from play instead of the graveyard. So and you're just getting a card from your deck, and it's probably a pretty good card. I don't think I ever had Helios, the Primordial Sun. I had his assistant, I want to say, which is that weirdly like space ghost man that's like bandaged. But yeah, I suppose you could do a lot with that still. I think let me know if it had changed, but by the time I ducked out, a lot of things had been shifted towards going out of play was their thing. So that'd probably help more people than it hinders nowadays. But yeah, very cool. So we got another magic and trap card. So let's pick a guy. Let's pick like a monster. Let's flip through here. This is the thing, because now I like pick through it and go like, nah, he's boring. He's boring. He's pretty boring. He's pretty boring. Yeah, they're all pretty boring. We're not really getting anything cute, anything to talk about. Like I'm just gonna pick up like a normal monster and be like, yeah, he's like just some rando normal monster. don't know. I don't know if I've committed to this, to be honest, but here we are. Content. Oh wow. Dark Mimic level 1. Again, the level monsters. Never really got into them. I know they put out a deck where it became more viable to get the cards quite cheap, but I didn't think the level mechanic was. I liked it because leveling up is a good mechanic to have and stuff, but I never got any of the cards that would help with leveling up, so I was just kind of left with awkward amounts of level monsters that I never put to use. The main thing, the why I picked this out of that agonizing research there is look, it's a wee mimic, like it's a wee full D&D mimic, and doesn't that just look horrible? Look at those teeth. I've always like Sarlacc pit type. There's just Polis going by. Sarlacc pit style stuff. Just he's got like a wee orifice thing in there. Like what are they getting away with? I know they like censor a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards to get rid of the fan service, but they let this through. God, look at that. I like his eye placement as well. It's quite nice. What do you do? He's level 1, which is what you'd want from a level 1 card. Flip. He's a flip. I remember when flips were great. I come from that era where flip effects worked. I don't think flip effects work anymore because like you could put your monster face down, get attacked, and you die or whatever, but your flip effect would go off. And now your flip effect doesn't go off if you get flipped like that, I want to say. There was something about that. I never... That was one of the kind of death nails for Yu-Gi-Oh! For myself, was like that flip effects just didn't work. Because like they were going to die, but at least they got their thing off. And I know they can be horrendously abused. There was someone we played with for ages that just had a horrendous flip effect deck where he would just play with banned cards to bless him. Like he stuck to his guns, but he would just play with banned cards, and a lot of them recycled the flip effect monsters. So he just had like 5 flip effect monsters all the time, and there was just nothing you could do against it. I mean, we eventually got there. We eventually crushed that flip effect deck, but we had to rely on basically power creep to get past it, which is the power of banned cards, I guess. But yeah, flip, draw 1 card from your deck, full stop. That's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's like, for back in the day, that's pretty good. Also, it's got an also, during your standby phase, send this face-up card to the graveyard to special summon 1 Dark Mimic level 3 from your hand to the deck. I didn't like that the level monsters skipped levels. When I was young, I just didn't understand that. It didn't gel at all. Why would you do a level thing where you skipped? It felt more like Pokemon with the kind of starters, the main kind of 1, 2, 3 kind of evolutions instead of like proper like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 like D&D kind of levels. It never really... It upset me mostly. It upset me. But yeah, we'll do a shuffle because like surely now that we've like taken out all of those magic and traps, this next one will be a monster that's interesting and doesn't, make me horrendously talk while going, oh, look at that. That's not boring at all. It is a monster, but it's one of the Light Sworns, and they, again, D&D based. They are. The Light Sworns are just a D&D team. It's great. There's like a monk, paladin, a warrior, and all that. This is the paladin. The paladin. I always kind of wanted a deck. My friend Michael, who'll probably be watching this, and I guess I'm only making this for him because he is the only person I know that is into Yu-Gi-Oh! He had a Light Sworn deck, and it was very powerful because Light Sworns were really good back in the day, and then they just never stopped adding to them. There was always more and more Light Sworn support, and like their core kind of gimmick, they were the kind of discard deck, like that you get their effects off, but it also discards cards. And then they added I keep getting their name confused with Light Sworn. It was like Light Ray, I want to say. I really like the Light Rays, and I kind of still want a Light Ray deck. I've got most of it in the cupboard back there. They had them to them as well, and they complemented the Light Sworns so much, and like there's so much light support. Like they were just one of the best kind of things out there. I know they're probably not considered anything by today's standard, or whatever, but they were just really good. They're one of those like kind of solid Yu-Gi-Oh decks that you can really go wrong with mostly, and I like the art. I like Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are like a theme basically of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are usually guy shaped. The Gravekeepers started that. Were the Gravekeepers the first archetype? They might have been. Archetype's probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Were they the first set of lads? It might be because of the Gravekeepers. I loved the Gravekeepers back in the day. Like it was just, I don't know. Maybe it was because it was getting into Bleach, but like they've got the kind of cloaks and everything, and they've got the theme, and they do stuff together. I imagine Gravekeepers are terrible, but like I say, I want to say that Pegasus deck comes with Marek's sister's deck, which has all Gravekeepers. Potentially, I might go buy it. We'll make him the last one. We can't do this forever. My voice is getting gravelly. He's a warrior. I feel like I should have been saying this for all of them, but we only had like a couple monsters. He's a warrior. He's a light. His effect is if this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 300 attack during the damage step only. He's one of those guys. He's one of those like subset of Yu-Gi-Oh cards where his effect is he gains more attack when he attacks. They love that. I don't know what it is about that, but maybe it's because it's very like easy to convey in the anime. A lot of when I was reading the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, the 5Ds one, a lot of the cards seem to have that effect. So maybe it's like maybe the Japanese youth are really into like, oh, it gets stronger when it does a thing. I mean, I'm into that, so I guess that makes sense. During each of your end phases, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Again, that's like, how does that make sense? But it's part of the mechanic where you don't need me to explain that. You're here, you're looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what discarding does. You know the power of, because it thins your deck down, it puts them into the graveyard, but basically means they're in play, and then you can do millions of stuff with them. He's got 1800 attack base and 1200 defense, and he's just kind of lovely. He's like a wee anime man with grey hair. I think he's pretty cool. But yeah, I had a lot of fun there. That was good. We might make more of these videos. Yeah, we might make more. I think I'm going to talk about comics in a minute, so bear with me for that. Thanks for watching. I got to press the button quite awkwardly. Yep, there we go. And then I got to end it. Bye.